Well, we've got our very own resident fitness expert on Pulse Sport. Ian Entwistle joins us now. He's a fitness expert. He's worked with lots of footballers. And Ian.
Good afternoon, Tim.
I'd be interested to know your views on this, because we're getting to that sort of time of the season when the club will be drawing up plans for the players so that when they go off on their holidays, they keep ticking over so that when they come back, they're in pretty good shape for pre-season.
Well, that's it, Tim. They to not be letting it all slide over the summer. They and not do a Ricky Hatton and put on a load of weight in between the end of the season and the start of next, really.
Does the body need a rest, though?
Definitely. It's massively important to get the rest in, and it wouldn't be the healthy thing to do to keep hitting it hard all year round. As athletes in any sport, football or Olympic athletes or any of these types of professional people, they have to what we call cycle the training, and that involves not doing the same thing all year round and not going as hard all year round. So they need to the rest has to be scheduled in, and the intensity of the training has to be scaled as per the time of year.
Because of course last season Bradford played 60-odd games, got to the Capital One Cup final, got to the playoff final, and because they played in the playoffs, it meant that it was a pretty short break for the players last summer. So I'm sure a lot of them will welcome, a few weeks off this time around. But what would your advice be? Do they, hit the beach?
Yeah, I think.
Do they relax, or should they be, doing exercise every week during pre-season?
I think that some time completely away would be beneficial. It's definitely useful to not do anything, probably for a couple of weeks, like you said, to hit the beach and just not even think about football at all. Like we all need time away from our work. The sports people are no different. To get away from it mentally, not just physically. Then it would be a case of they'll have their pre-season scheduled in to come back, and they'll have to work on some strength work before they finish up just before the season starts, by getting their sharpness and their match fitness.
The sports scientist here, in his programme notes, has said he expects the boys to come back for pre-season on a manageable level. He said they might lose a bit of fitness, but it shouldn't be greatly under their previously set end-of-season mark.
Yeah, I think it's not going to go completely down the toilet while they're away for a few weeks.
It depends what they're doing while they're away.
I guess it does, but I mean, these people, it's their job, isn't it? And I don't think that it depends. I mean, if they were to go completely off the rails and eat garbage for the time they're away for the entirety, I mean, that's important. I mean, like I said, they're not training, but it doesn't mean they have to let everything slide completely, like eating their Easter eggs like everyone would have been doing over the last few days. You don't have to, just because you're not doing the job and you're not playing football every week, doesn't mean everything has to go to pot. They can, like I said, they can keep things ticking over. They can keep moving around. But I think it's useful certainly to have some breakaway, and it will also depend on the level of there'll be some players that will be carrying knocks and injuries. I mean, there's hardly any players that always play completely and utterly injury free. They're always carrying something. So those people will have to. That will have to be tailored for the person, for the individual player, and I think you can't just give a blanket programme for the whole team.
Interesting stuff. We'll quickly broaden it out, Ian, because we're at that stage of the year when I'm sure a lot of our listeners are thinking, crikey, I've got to get in me shorts and get around the pool, or get in the bikini and go to the beach, and there'll be people who want to lose a little bit of weight for summer. Have you got any advice?
Yeah, of course. Well, everyone will have been. It's like a little mini Christmas, isn't it, Easter? In that everyone will indulge for a little bit. Only the difference being, we're getting to summer pretty quick now, so we've not got the time the same to get that six-pack ready for the beach. So yeah, people have to get back into some kind of discipline. They're going back to work, and that can help provide the discipline. Sort the meals out, plan. Don't be eating any of the unnatural processed garbage that we've talked about previously. No added sugar, no added sweeteners. Don't worry about the fat, as long as it's natural, and focus on eating right, not eating less, is my advice.
Because I know that when we've had discussions like this before, a lot of people, see a packet of, whatever it is, and it says low in fat, and they think, I'm fine, I can eat this. But I think your advice will be that it's not just whether it's low in fat.
100%. That is, I reckon that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, and one of the biggest crimes of nutrition is the low fat culture. If you see something that says low fat, it's not going to be natural unless something will have been put in there, because normally, generally speaking, something that would have fat in it naturally, if you remove the fat from it, it will taste awful. And so something, normally sugar, will have been put into to make that palatable. It could be some kind of sweetener, it could be something else, but fat is not to be feared. It's just it's got to be put into context.
Is sugar to be feared then?
I would say so, yeah. But again, you don't find high levels of sugar naturally. You don't find, and you tend not to find fat and sugar together in nature as a rule. You do have some exceptions to that. So, generally speaking, the highly processed foods that people eat, the ready meals and the confectionery and the goodies, tend to be high in fat and sugar, and that's a deadly combination for putting on weight, putting on fat as a rule.
And interesting that I know you were having a bit of a chat last week with Sticks, and Sticks, would you believe it? I mean, I found this highly entertaining. Sticks was asking for advice on how to trim up a little bit. He was looking to lean up a little bit, but when you told him that he had to stop drinking quite so much alcohol, his face dropped.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things we have to get with, really. Alcohol, there's a few problems with alcohol. Generally speaking, it's quite sugary. So beer and such like is very sugary. Also, beer in particular contains your grains, which is what you get the problem with your bread and your pasta. So they can be problematic for a different reason. A lot of people can't manage very well with grains in the diet, not just because of the carb content. Carbs generally tend to be fattening, but grains are problematic in a different way for people's guts, and a lot of people can't manage to process that kind of thing. Gluten, for example, being a particular problem to a lot of people.
Brilliant. That was very informative, Ian. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's Ian Entwistle joining us live on Pulse Sport, fitness expert. If you've got any questions, he's going to hang about for us this